Kyle Katarn.
Kyle Katarn?
Kyle Katarn.
Kyle Katarn, at your service.
Kyle Katarn, one of the OG Star Wars Legends heroes and one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. When I was a kid, I spent I don't know how many hours playing as Kyle in the game Jedi Outcast for the original Xbox. Unfortunately for me, I was kind of a stupid kid and never really thought about the fact that this game is called Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast, meaning this is of course a sequel. For some reason, it never occurred to me to check out the first game in the series. Now in my defense, they did do a terrible job naming these games. You have the first one I played, Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast, so you would assume the prior game would be Jedi Knight 1 or something like that, right? Well, not really. The prior game is called Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. I know it's a little confusing, but just stick with me here. Dark Forces 2 is a sequel to, as you expect, Dark Forces. So just so we're all on the same page here, it goes Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, then Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast, and eventually Jedi Knight 3 Jedi Academy, which we'll get to one day. I say all this to explain why up till now I've actually never played the original Dark Forces or even knew Kyle Katarn was the main protagonist. I mean, look at this guy. He looks nothing like the later iterations. I mean, just look at that jawline. So I actually never played this game back in the day, and that was just a huge loss for me because holy crap, this game is amazing. Young me would have gone nuts over this. And I won't throw this out here at the beginning of the video. When you look at some of the pictures for the game, you probably would think, oh, it's just another Doom clone. I mean, I definitely thought that when I first looked up the game. And to a certain respect, it kinda is. However, to say this game was ahead of its time would really be kind of an understatement. Huge, complex level designs, interesting puzzles, and a pretty good and engaging story. It might sound kinda weird, but in a lot of ways, Dark Forces actually reminds me more of Half-Life than Doom, even if it came out 3 years earlier. Dark Forces is one of those early examples of first-person shooter games trying to create a more engaging storyline with objectives that allow each level to play out differently enough that they all feel just very unique. While games like Doom rely on more of a maze-like design for level complexity, which I do love by the way, Dark Forces creates a more believable environment that really just nails that Star Wars feel at the time. Now of course there are a few issues with the game being from the mid-90s, like no mouse control aiming, and the graphics can of course be a little rough on modern screens. Even so, I'll still be sticking to the original game for the full experience for this review. However, if you are looking to play it for yourself and just can't stand not having mouse aim or just can't stand low-res graphics, fortunately there are a ton of mods out there. One of the most popular ones, and the one I really like, is the Dark XL mod, which adds updated visuals and even mouse control aiming, which feels so much better, especially when playing on new hardware. Unfortunately, this mod was never finished, so some aspects of the game are a bit buggy, like weapon pickups and some of the puzzles, but if you're patient, it's still a lot of fun. You also have the Force engine, which should be out sometime in the near future, promising both a more stable experience and a more accurate presentation to the original. And on the opposite side of that spectrum, you have a team working to create a full remake in the Unreal 4 engine, which just looks beautiful. You even have the one I can't wait for, which is the VR mod that's being worked on currently, and oh man, when that comes out, I'll lose my mind, but that's still in early development. I just wanted to mention all these projects so you can at least see that there's still a large and dedicated community around Dark Forces, and for good reason. But enough about mods, let's jump right into the game so you can see for yourself why Dark Forces is still one of the best Star Wars games out there. So like any good Star Wars property, the game starts off with an opening crawl laying out the current state of the universe. We learn that this is currently before A New Hope and the rebels have learned of the Death Star and what it is capable of. And do they assemble a crack team of interesting and diverse characters? Fuck no, they hire one man, Kyle Katarn. And this isn't calm, witty Jedi Kyle, no, this is gruff, jacked, take no shits Kyle.
Jabba? What have you done with Jan?
If any harm comes to her, I'll personally shove my blaster down your slimy throat.
God, I love classic Star Wars. A merc for hire, armed with your trusty blaster pistol, your first mission is to actually steal the Death Star plans. Well, I hope you enjoyed using his iconic pistol, because from here on out there's really very little reason to ever use it again. It uses the same ammo as the E11, so this really becomes the workhorse for most of the game. Even after you begin to find new weapons, I still consistently fall back to the E11 for most encounters, since every stormtrooper and officer drops ammo for it. Fortunately, blasting troopers with it feels just as satisfying as it should be, especially when their little sprites start writhing around in pain from being shot. That sounded a little dark there. One problem you'll probably realize pretty quickly is that shooting upwards can be kinda weird with no mouse aim. I mean, I guess that is the benefit of having the high ground. The default controls have you looking up and down by using page up and page down, which is just really weird. However, it does do that kind of Doom thing where if you back far enough up, it will kind of automatically start shooting upwards, so it kind of works out. A couple things you should note real quick is the screen layout. Very simple and straightforward. On the right, you have your ammo and battery life for usable items like the flashlight and night vision. And on the left, you have your shield, health, and lives. Yes, lives are a thing here. You have 3 lives to make it count on each level, unless you find more by exploring. Also, a neat little addition is that blaster fire will actually only affect your shields until they're down. Now, melee damage will ignore your shields completely and directly affect your health, and I really like this. I really enjoy when older games try creative ideas like this. The first mission really just kind of eases us into the game pretty well, with both inside and outside portions, finding officers who have the key card to move forward, flipping switches, and eventually locating our objective before having to escape with it. And can we just take a moment actually just to appreciate the way these rooms look? They all give off that just classic, good old Star Wars vibe. Now after we get the Death Star plans, we gotta make it up to the roof to escape back to the Rebel Alliance. Now I know a few people might find it kind of strange that the first mission is something as big as stealing the plans for Death Star, but it does do a good job at making you instantly connect with Kyle, knowing that he played such a pivotal role in things that took place in the original movies. The main plot of the game takes place after episode 4, so establishing him in the universe as kind of a badass mercenary that already has some street cred works well to give a reason as to why the rebels are turning to him for this new unknown threat that you get to unravel. And now that we're finished with what is essentially the prologue, we get one of the few actual cutscenes in the game.
Kyle delivers the plans to the Rebel Alliance. Soon afterwards, the Death Star is destroyed. But even as the Alliance celebrates this victory, another sinister plot is set in motion that will become an even greater concern for the Rebellion.
Hey, wait a second, is that the narrator from Rogue Squadron?
Escort valuable Rebel supplies through dangerous Imperial territory over the humid lands of Barkesh.
It actually is, though I could have apparently said any Star Wars game, because it turns out Danny Delk, who actually did the voice of the narrator from Rogue Squadron as well as the narrator for Dark Forces, has actually played parts in almost every classic Star Wars title, and most importantly, the voice in Chessmaster 7000.
Bishop takes F6.
Ah, you gotta love that passion. You also have Scott Lawrence as Darth Vader, who just does an amazing job.
The Emperor has approved your test demonstration, General Mock.
Thank you, Lord Vader. What I unveil today will mark a new era for the Empire. We will be able to decimate the rebels just as we did the Jedi Knights. At last, the Emperor's war will be filled only with the glory and beauty of decisive victory.
A noble cause, General. I hope the demonstration lives up to your claims. Proceed.
If it sounds familiar, it's because he's actually voiced Vader in many Star Wars games, and even as recently as Jedi Fallen Order. So the main big threat in the game is the Dark Troopers, and honestly, they're kind of a bunch of pushovers gameplay-wise. That doesn't stop them from fucking up some random planet, though. So cutting back over to the Rebel Alliance, we get a chance to see some familiar faces actually, including ones like Mon Mothma.
Thank you, Commander, for responding at such short notice. The Empire has been keeping us on the run since the destruction of the Death Star. 5 days ago, the Empire attacked one of our secret bases in the city of Talay.
This is Tech Base to anybody out there.
We also get a chance to see something that Dark Forces does quite a bit of in its cutscenes, which is taking footage from the original trilogy and just pretending it's something else. Like you have here Admiral Akbar, clearly from episode 6, but instead they're just acting as if it's a different character altogether over on the planet that was just destroyed. And this isn't the first time they do it either. They do this actually in about every cutscene in the game, where they'll play some kind of old footage from the original trilogy, but intermingle it into the cutscene in such a way it's as if it's not really from that movie. I'm not sure if it's really creative or if it's lazy, but it is kind of humorous to see it time to time.
Very perceptive, Commander. I know you understand that all we discuss here is classified. This Imperial officer, Crix Medine, wishes to defect to the Alliance. He has supplied us with information on the development of a new Imperial weapon. Those sounds you heard, we believe, come from that weapon. A new type of stormtrooper, the Dark Trooper.
We also find out that Crix Medine, a character you might remember from episode 6, is the one actually feeding us the information. From Imperial officer to General of the Rebels, the OG Imperial defector. Suck it, Finn.
Hire you to find out if there is a threat, and if there is, to shut it down. That is, if you are still on our side.
This could be interesting. All right, I'm in. But I think I'll need some help on this one. I want Jan Ors as my mission officer.
Certainly. Then I will let Jan brief you further on your mission objectives. Thank you, Commander, and may the Force be with you.
Ah, Jan Ors, Kyle's sort of love interest, or in this game a wall of text that tells us each mission briefing and helps identify certain objectives. She operates mainly as the pilot and supporting character throughout the game. But let's go investigate that planet to see what those Dark Troopers really did. Oh god, they really did fuck this place up. So while the first mission was a bit more of a linear level, the next few missions really start opening things up just a little bit more. And this is where the larger map sizes can kind of begin to drive some people a little crazy. If you're used to these older style shooters, running around these areas will probably be not that big of a deal, to be honest. But if you're used to more linear shooters of today, you might start banging your head into a wall with some of these level layouts. Just try to think of it as a little bit more of a big maze and just put a little extra thought into where you're going and where you've been instead of just running around on autopilot, and you should be fine on most levels. So the second mission actually starts with us investigating the ruins of Talay after the massacre by the Dark Troopers. And they did a really good job of making this place look like a straight up massacre. For one, dead bodies are littered everywhere. I mean, they really make all these dead civilians look as fucked up as Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. And the bombed out buildings and dark corridors of the first half of the level are just a really good touch. Another way Dark Forces really just shines is the fact that all the levels allow you to interact with them in a lot of different ways. So even after you turn on the power, yeah, you see all the lights turn on. Yes, you can actually go ahead and go further into the level. But one of the things you're also able to do is actually go back earlier in the level and open up secret doors where you can find more ammo, supplies, and even extra lives. And little things like this really do reward the player for actually exploring and actually looking around in every level, because there are a lot of secrets in these levels that you can find. I have not even come close to finding them all. But there's a lot of secrets that you can find, from getting better weapons at an earlier moment, or again finding extra lives to make it easier to get through a very difficult area. The game just overall does a great job at rewarding you for actually looking around and actually interacting with the level as much as possible. After restarting the power back to the station, all the lights start coming on and we can start making our way over to the main headquarters and even pick up a blaster power-up and just go ham on some stormtroopers. These blaster power-ups are more of a temporary boost to your fire rate, hidden in areas where developers want you to just kind of have some fun. After committing a massacre of our own, we actually discovered the remains of a prototype weapon for the Dark Troopers that was actually left behind during the attack. And this is the main objective for the level, and actually most levels will actually end similar to this, where after you find the main objective, you actually need to backtrack through the level to then rendezvous back with the ship, and usually of course fight through some light reinforcements. Fortunately, like all good manufacturers, Moff Rebus put his symbol MR on all the weapons that he creates, allowing us to actually track him down. Unfortunately, he is hidden in some underground sewers. And I'm just gonna say it, this is probably the worst mission in the whole game. It's just 3/4 of the mission is just hopping around in sewers, flipping switches while being ambushed by an endless wave of droids and, worst of all, Dianagas, or the sewer monsters from episode 4, which is a neat idea, just this level is full of them. And since melee damage goes right through your shields and they can pop up almost anywhere, they become just a major nuisance. The whole idea of the level is just to find different switches to flood the areas of the sewers just to get across. And helpful tip here, just be careful not to run out of batteries for your flashlight, alright? Or you're gonna be stuck in near complete darkness. Also, don't worry so much about all the sewer monsters, just run past them any chance you'll get, or they'll just keep spawning in, causing you just to waste your ammo. After finally flipping all the right switches and swimming through all this garbage, we can move on to the platforming portion of the level, because don't you just love platforming? And you know what I just love more than platforming? Having Reese throw thermal detonators at you while you do it. Just awesome. But after some light platforming and destroying some more droids, you find Moff Rebus and oh my god, look at him. He's wearing a wife beater with a porn stash. I'm pretty sure I've seen this dude out at the local trailer park. You know, funny thing about his character design is that actually George Lucas had a rule of having almost no glasses, buttons, or zippers for characters' clothing, with the idea being that Star Wars should have its own style, far separate from anything that we might be familiar with here. Part of what makes it so timeless actually, so I have no idea how this handsome devil made it through quality control. Either way, we learn through interrogation that the weapons testing takes place on Fest and the Outer Rim, making it, logically, our next destination. And I hope you don't have a fear of heights, cause something you should know about Fest. Yeah, it's more platforming, this time on the side of a cliff. It really is not that bad, to be honest. I only actually fell when I wasn't really paying much attention, and it does allow for some neat engagements. After looking around the entrance for the base for about 20 minutes or so, you know, we might figure out that we should probably be looking somewhere else. Well, this seems actually promising. Damn it. Well, an extra life at least. Apparently the Empire has finally decided to do something about their terrible security, because there's really no way of getting in through the front door at all. Which means you really need to start looking around to try to find a different entrance to the facility. Ah, Vince, my old friend. I know what's needed from here. Okay, I just need to get this out of my system. Fuck these turrets. I mean, fuck these low-level polygons. They are just awful. They are difficult to kill and rip through your shields. They are all over this base. Don't be an idiot like me and try to kill them. Just any chance you have that you're able to, just run past them, alright? Run past them any chance you get, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it in the least. Hey look, a new gun. So this is the repeater, probably my other go-to gun in the game. Not that our guns are inherently bad, it's just that the repeater, E11, and thermal detonator are pretty much enough to get you through most of the game. It's really just a faster firing E11 that uses power cells for ammo instead, which drop from most droids and later enemies, so you usually have plenty of ammo for it. Ah, passcodes. So Dark Forces could have just used a simple key card for all their locked rooms. However, in some areas you actually need to enter a passcode to get through. Now you pretty much find these passcodes the same way you would find the keys, but The method does add a bit more world-building elements to the level, which is pretty enjoyable actually, and sometimes finding passcodes for locks will get you into even secret rooms. Just overall, a really underappreciated system in my opinion. So this is where Dark Forces really starts to shine for its time and really started to hook me in, to be honest. These set pieces, like the ones in this room, are pretty crazy. Having to spin and lower the bridge and flip switches to access the material you're looking for is just a really neat concept for the time, and it's not the last time these sort of large set pieces are actually used. After lining everything up, we get the metal sample called Frick, and we get out of there. Well, if I knew how to, I guess. Okay, so I know I said most levels aren't that bad, but for some reason I was running around this place like an idiot for 10 extra minutes with a map out and everything. Yes, you have a map, and I'm still too stupid to get out of here. I only got out by accident, finding my way literally walking into what I thought was a dead end. Either way, we make it out of the base, make sure we don't trip on our way back out to the ship, and finally we are out of here. So after analyzing the Frick metal we found on Fest, I still can't get over it, the fact it's called Frick. Either way, it's determined that what it's being used for is apparently to armor up the Dark Troopers, and since we don't have all the information as to how to stop them yet, the reasonable decision is to try to sabotage the mining operation gathering the metal. I really feel like this is where the game starts taking the training wheels off, you know, just tons of enemies everywhere that really just make sure that you're using more tactics than just running around with the E11. Maybe that means throwing a thermal detonator over a ledge to take out a group of stormtroopers, or maybe it means exploring to try to find more ammo for your repeater, or maybe it's even finding one of those blaster packs so you can get a higher rate of fire to take down the larger amount of stormtroopers that are there than what you normally have been facing. We even get a chance to find a new gun, which is pretty much a poor man's version of a Wookiee bowcaster. I mean, it doesn't really do any real damage as far as I can tell, and uses the same ammo as the plasma repeater, so I don't see why we would ever use it, but I mean, I guess it's neat. The mining area is pretty cool, I guess, you know, and just drills digging all into the ground, and eventually we even get to descend into the mine shaft itself with some not frustrating at all platforming. Damn it! Finally! Wait, I made the jump for this? How do I get back up? After some interesting jumps, we get to make our way down to the core of the mining operation, ready to blow it up. When...
Charge set, ready to clear.
So this is the Phase 1 Dark Trooper, a melee-only enemy that comes equipped with a blaster-resistant shield that will actually deflect the shots back at you. They're really not that bad so long as you keep moving and use grenades, just don't get cornered by them because they'll just start spamming their melee and take you out pretty quickly.
Jed, you better get me out of here. I think I just finished off a Dark Trooper. I'll find out if there are any more around.
Okay, Kyle. Sounds good to me.
Okay, why does she sound like I'm inconveniencing her telling her this? It's like I told her I'm picking up groceries or this is some common occurrence or something. I just killed a Dark Trooper for God's sake.
Okay, Kyle. Sounds good to me.
After fighting our way through some more guards, we escape just in time to see the fireworks, and holy shit! So yeah, I don't think we destroyed just the facility. Apparently the rebels have no rules at all against nukes. Jeez, maybe we are the bad guys. Oh, nope, they're definitely the bad guys. Really giving off some Schindler's List vibes here.
Kyle Katarn.
Katarn will not be as easy to deal with. He is very resourceful. More resourceful, it seems, than even your Dark Troopers.
I understand the threat, Lord Vader. Katarn was once an impressive Imperial officer, but he was weak and gave up on the struggle for our new order. I wouldn't put much faith in his abilities.
Well, that's a mistake.
Katarn will never come near this ship. My new hire will see to that.
Oh my god, it's Boba Fett! So after us nuking a planet, the Empire found out our boy Crix was the actual spy and has locked him in a detention center. The only problem is, now that he's captured, I don't really know who's supposed to lead the rebels in episode 6 anymore. Oh god. Alright, we've got to rescue him. You know, this is actually a really interesting level overall. It allows for a large amount of exploration that's completely optional for you to do, but is still very rewarding if you decide to do it. We start off on the cliffside on the outside of the facility and have to actually find a ship to get us across. Yes, this is a ship in 1995, just use your imagination. The prison really begins to get interesting after we fought our way over to the elevator itself, and mostly it's because there's actually 3 levels we get to go through. However, you only need to go to the 3rd to follow the main route. The other 2 levels are completely optional and are filled with things like hidden weapons like the mortar gun, which I actually really enjoy. Plus it has stuff like destroyable walls to supplies and even some good nostalgia trips. Hey, I know this place. Oh, and blaster fire will also bank off the walls, which is neat at first, but can get pretty irritating pretty quick, especially with the accuracy of most stormtroopers. Most of these bonus areas rely heavily on finding passcodes to get through the doors, to get extra supplies, and even open prison cells. Why would you lock up your own security droids? You eventually get to a very strange puzzle, if you can call it that. The security key is protected by these laser fences. Now, can you tell if they're off or on? Neither could I. It turns out these blinking lights on the side, which you can just kind of barely see, when it's solid, it's off, giving you a very small window for getting through. There's also an extra elevator here that you really don't need to get in at all unless you just want to go explore more of the prison. Why would you put a mine in the prison cell? After backtracking to the surface with the key card we found earlier, we can gain access to maintenance, but wait, it's blocked. Not gonna lie, this is one of those puzzles I completely understand having to look up. Most of the puzzles in the game are actually very well done to the point where, you know, it's not too difficult to figure out on your own, and when you do, it's pretty rewarding, but this one in particular, it definitely took me a lot longer than I'll like to admit, and just maybe, I did look up how to get through it. The idea is that you have to go all the way back down to the second elevator and send it up 1. Go back to the surface and send the first elevator down 1. And what do you know it, you basically just assembled a staircase through the maintenance shaft. Really neat idea for a puzzle. I just don't know why anyone would naturally think of this as the solution, but maybe I'm just dumb. Hey look, more sewers. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that great at these kind of games, so after this death making me restart the level, I lowered the difficulty to medium for the rest of the playthrough. Well, almost, but I'll explain that later. So after running through all of that again and making it back to the sewers, oh my god, I'm being squished. We finally make it to the main prison block and rescue Crix. Or nearly blow his head off. Now that we have rescued Crix, we are actually able to get some exposition and info on the man behind the Dark Trooper project, Rom Mach. And it's actually quite good. It turns out he's a highly decorated soldier from the Clone Wars era and actually opposed the creation of the Death Star. So pretty much the opposite of modern Star Wars with, you know, planet killer after planet killer, which feels kind of refreshing to be honest. He is instead obsessed with personal combat, preferring not to use any tech that separates the soldier from the killing, which is kind of interesting since the Dark Troopers are, well, robots. I mean, I guess in many ways we're all hypocrites, right? I mean, hell, we just nuked 2 planets. Speaking of Dark Troopers, we also find out that Dark Troopers have 3 phases, and the one that we faced in the mines was simply Phase 1. The rest of the metal is apparently being processed at a robotics facility at an unknown location, but fortunately, our boy Crix knows a ship headed that way. So all we have to do is sneak aboard the ship and plant a tracker that will lead us there. Okay, so sneak really isn't an option in this game. You know, you would really think though after a platoon of dead stormtroopers and dock workers, they would actually maybe realize, you know what, maybe something's up. But why concern yourself with plot holes like that when you can instead look at how awesome this ship is? It's just like the Tantive 4, which I'm not sure if that actually makes much sense with it being the Empire, but who cares? You get to kill stormtroopers while they're taking a piss, and isn't that the important part of the level? Okay, so this level is actually kind of quick, right? And all you really do is go aboard, kill a bunch of dock workers, hop on the ship, slaughter everyone bow to stern. I'm not even sure if there's anyone left to even pilot this ship at this point, but hey, the trackers are placed and we're on our way to the robotics facility. Oh god, ice. Why'd it have to be ice? I mean, fortunately there are some ice cleats pretty early on in the level, which frankly just kind of makes me wonder why there was any reason for them to actually put in a sliding feature in the first place, because to be honest, it's kind of hard to miss them. Now I got a quick question for you. What was your favorite level in the original Half-Life game? If you said residue processing, then you're going to have a blast on this level. Fortunately in this case, it's actually not so bad. Oh, come on, I'm getting crushed again. To be honest, as irritating as some people find this level to be, I'm mostly kind of impressed with how intricate the level is as a whole for a game made in 1995. I mean, the full system of moving conveyor belts zigzagging all throughout the large facility in this fashion is actually pretty impressive for its time. Kill some guys here, and after we make our way through the conveyor belts, we get to jump through this window and activate the vents. Make sure to activate the vents. Then back through some maintenance shafts where we need to make a leap of faith. Holy crap, I actually somehow took no damage from that. Normally that fall kills you, or at the very least nearly kills you. Which is actually kind of why the creators put a revive at the bottom to bring you right back to life. I guess I just had a little bit more faith this time. Now, if you didn't flip that switch up there like I told you to do, this entire area will be filled with poisonous gas, making you actually have to equip the gas mask down here to survive. Which, to be perfectly honest, is not really that big of a deal, but it's just nice not to have to worry about it. One charge. Two charge.
All charges set. Good job. Let's blow this ice cube.
3 charge and we are set. Holy shit! Yep, this is the Phase 2 Dark Trooper, heavily armored, equipped with jetpack, assault cannon, and rockets. They're quick moving, and to be honest, overall, they're really not that bad. As long as you keep moving just as quickly, you can kind of just circle around them with your repeater or E11, and you'll pretty much be able to avoid most of their assault cannon shots and even their missiles. Just try not to get cornered by them. And speaking of getting cornered, no, get away. Ah, damn it. Something about getting chased by Phase 1 Dark Troopers through a tight maze is actually kind of creepy. Especially with their walking sound effects. There's like 3 of these bastards in here, so yeah, fuck them. But hey, look, safety, we can actually finally get out of here. Well, there goes my extra life I had. Did we really have to nuke a planet again? Just really starting to feel like overkill over here. So after committing our, what is it now, 2nd war crime? Jan's found out that most of the shipments are going actually to the moon of Nar Shaddaa, or Nar Shaddaa, however you want to say it. And figures we can probably nab the Imperial routes from their outposts that they actually have set up here. She gives me the great hint of trying not to stir up the local bounty hunters. Alright, we'll see how that goes, I guess. Hey, what's up, Pigface? Okay, for 1995, they actually did a really good job at portraying this sprawling metropolis. Sure, it looks simple, but it does get the point across actually quite well, and I do appreciate that. You know what I don't appreciate, though? The enemies. You wanna know who the worst enemy in this game is? It's not the Dark Troopers. Hell, it's not even the Gamorreans, and it's not even those damn sewer monsters. It's fucking Bosk. This ugly Trandoshan motherfucker is the bane of my existence. Alright, just think if Doom Demons were running around with BFGs. They might call it a concussion rifle, but that shit is anything but. It doesn't matter where you're at, it will hit you and cause massive damage. Alright, I've died more times to these damn boss clones than any other enemy in the whole game, and it's not even close. It makes you just want to go back to play Republic Commando just so I can stab them to death again and again and again. God, I hate these guys. But you gotta get used to them because they're here pretty much till the end of the game. Best thing to do is just stun lock them the best you can with the E11 and just try to take them out first. Don't let them get the jump on you. Just try to take them out as quick as possible. The majority of this level is pretty straightforward till you get to what I think is supposed to be a city block. It's kind of hard to say with old graphics, but I'll put it this way. If I didn't have a map, I probably would still be lost there today. I mean, maybe it was because it was just a really late night when I was playing, or maybe it's just because I'm stupid, but I could not find my way through this place at all. Lord knows how long it took me to actually find the damn exit. Of course, in the end, we get to the Imperial office and get our hands on those nav routes. And that's pretty much it for Nar Shaddaa. Overall, it's actually a pretty quick level, which is pretty good because I'm actually kind of ready to get back to killing mostly stormtroopers. Wait, what's this? Hey look, more fan service. Remember when I mentioned how they use clips from the original trilogy? Well, here's another case of it. Using Jabba from episode 6, just projected with a bit of filtering, makes it appear, of course, like he's actually talking to Kyle instead of just reciting the same lines we've heard a dozen times over in episode 6. But it works out again, quite well, surprisingly so, actually.
Jabba, what have you done with Jan? If any harm comes to her, I'll personally shove my blaster down your slimy throat.
Again, Kyle is just a fucking man. I mean, is it really that surprising that Jabba has actually been working with the Empire this whole time to help smuggle supplies over for him? I mean, I guess it's kind of fan service-y, but it works, it works.
I wish you were here too, Jabba. There's nothing like roast Kell dragon.
Okay, this is what I love about this version of Kyle. Just no fucks given, alright? About to be killed and still threatening Jabba and talking about how he's gonna fuck up his pet dragon. And why not? He's Kyle fucking Katarn. No guns, no problem. He'll rip and tear his way through 5 dragons on hard mode. Okay, wrong game, but still. You see, I'm not actually joking. On medium, there's only 2 dragons there. On hard mode, they drop 5 freaking dragons on you. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, I got through it, but still. Overall, Jabba's ship is a pretty unique level, right? I mean, it's a short level, sure, because it's almost like a continuation of Nar Shaddaa. So them both being short levels back to back kind of works well together. But it's kind of strange because if you looked at it purely on the merits of level design, it kind of blows. Mostly because of the ridiculous amount of mines everywhere, many of which you cannot avoid on your first playthrough. Fuck it, I'm switching back to medium. But story-wise, it's kinda neat getting captured and having to escape your own execution and finding your gear before slaughtering everyone aboard the ship to find Jan. Again, the mines suck and Trandoshans are everywhere, but it's a nice setting to have. Seeing massive murals of Jabba on the wall and even going through this bar/party area is just really cool. I don't get why he just lets his dragon wander through the hallways. I mean, I doubt that thing is housebroken. But after all this alien killing, I just can't wait to finish this level and see Jan's beautiful face again.
Oh my God! What's wrong with your face?
You know, you would think after nuking 2 planets, breaking a spy out of prison, and punching a fucking dragon to death, the Empire would maybe, I don't know, tighten up their security. Then again, an old man in a walking carpet ran around the Death Star raising very few alarms, so I guess the Empire is pretty lax. Either way, we're off to the capital of the Empire to decode these nav routes we stole. Funny thing, even though Coruscant was actually named in 1991 in the book Heir to the Empire, it still wasn't really, I guess, widely known, so the game just actually calls it Imperial City. Seems kinda for a name, but hey, whatever. I mean, if they can do it in the Halo show, I guess they can do it back in 1995. To be honest, this whole plan seems just a little strange to me. We've already shown that we have no problem with nuking planets, so I don't really see why we can't just send Kyle behind enemy lines and just leave a few nukes around the city for the Empire to panic over like an episode of 24. I guess not all problems can be solved with nukes though. Overall, I actually really like this level, starting off on the landing pads, immediately going up against Phase 1 Dark Troopers and tons of Stormtroopers. You get a chance to sneak across some rooftops, try not to alert the guards, you know, with like an actual kind of sneaking section. And look at that Imperial fortress! I mean, that is an evil looking building. I wonder if the inside's gonna look as evil as the outside does. Oh yeah, it looks evil. There's something about the tan mixed with the black. It almost gives it like a nice culty feel to it all, especially with all the Emperor decor everywhere. Fuck yo statues. One of the best parts of the level is actually that you actually get your hand on the Dark Trooper Assault Cannon, and damn, this thing is good. With the standard cannon doing massive damage and having an alt fire of missiles, it really is your go-to for the heavier duty enemies like the Dark Troopers. Okay. I know a lot of people don't like this puzzle, and I just don't understand it, right? It's really a good puzzle overall. It's not too hard, but challenging enough to feel like you've actually accomplished something, you know, finishing it. All it really is just 3 circles with locking doors that you can only open 1 door section at a time. If the middle door is open, the outer and center door are closed. And if the outer door is open, then the other 2 are closed. So, get the point. So looking at the layout on the wall, you should be able to easily get through it. Again, hard enough to make you think, but not hard enough just to piss you off. Alright, so let's just scan this data pad, actually pick up the recording.
Kyle, something strange is going down over here. Get back here. I mean it.
And it looks like Jan's in trouble again. I wonder what it could be this time. Oh my god, it's Boba Fett! He's actually really easy. Just keep shooting and moving and he goes down pretty quickly. Don't worry, he's just sleeping. He still needs to come back for episode 6, you know. So we are finally closing up to the end here, and these next 2 missions leading up to the final one are actually some of the shortest ones in the game. So we're actually going to just combine them here together into one, because similar to how Nar Shaddaa and Jabba's Palace kind of worked, they kind of feel more like just a continuation of each other. So with the information we've gathered, as well as now having the nav routes from the Imperial City, we understand that the Arkhammer space station is the one that's apparently building the Dark Troopers. However, it only takes shipments from one particular Star Destroyer, and that is the Executor, aka Darth Vader's personal flagship. Apparently for security reasons, the Arkhammer space station actually jumps at different points in the galaxy, with the only ship knowing its location being the Executor. Fortunately for us, with the cargo routes that we decrypted, we understand that the Star Destroyer will be taking on supplies from a fueling station soon. So all we gotta do is sneak aboard the Star Destroyer, then hop onto a cargo ship, and then get over to the Arkhammer. The fueling station is pretty straightforward at first, to be honest. All you really need to do is fight your way over to the control room so you can open the cargo doors and sneak aboard a Star Destroyer. Mostly just fighting through simple corridors. Hey look, a bar! And aliens and Imperials hanging out together, just chilling? How progressive. What the hell is this room for? This is one of those cases where it's actually a really nice set piece, but I really don't understand its purpose at all. And I only kind of think I did the puzzle right. And why are there so many Trandoshans here? I mean, really, fuck these people. A big open room against enemies you can't dodge is not a recipe for a good time. Alright, so we flipped the switch, now we can run back through and sneak aboard. I always love Kyle's interpretation of the word sneak. I guess we can go ahead and rest up until we get to the ARC station. Well, damn, that was quick. Now all we gotta do is fight our way over to the cargo ship, because let's face it, Kyle is not really the silent type, and get over to the ARC hammer. The executor level is definitely the quickest level in the entire game, but it does have a couple of really cool moments. Holy crap, it's a TIE fighter. I like to imagine people seeing that in 1995 about shitting their pants. I mean, it's still pretty cool to see. I mean, with the technology they had at the time, having this TIE fighter just fly into the hangar and head out, I mean, it's actually pretty awesome. I almost think the level was made in the first place just so they had an excuse to show this off. Because besides the mini boss fight with like 3 Phase 2 Dark Troopers, there's really not much else to this level. Well, maybe moving the cargo ship around is kind of cool for the time. Oh, hey, you're still watching. So here's the thing. This video is taking me a lot longer to make than I originally thought. So if you watched all the way up to this point and have actually enjoyed it, hey, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I really hope to be doing more of these. And of course, if you have any ideas on games I should look at, hey, leave them in the comments below. Either way, back to the game. Well, we're finally here. The last mission of the game. Now, if you were thinking, how are we supposed to stop this space station and Dark Trooper project? Have you learned nothing from this game? Yes, all problems can be solved with nukes. Who would have known? So the plan is to set 3 charges throughout this ship and commandeer a shuttle to escape. But this is the ARC hammer, the Dark Trooper facility, one of the most important military bases for the Empire at the time, so you sure as hell know it's not going to be easy. You have platforming, you have turrets, you have Dark Troopers, Phase 1 and Phase 2, and even these things. So we start off pretty simple, boarding the ARC through the cargo vessel we stole. Okay, I don't know if that music change was supposed to happen like that, but that is just some awesome timing. And really, the music here is actually just a great compilation of a bunch of unique and classic Star Wars tracks. Now, I have no idea what these weird polygon robot arms are supposed to be, but on my first run through the level, which I failed at, they killed me more times than I like to admit. So the second time I just hid back and shot them with some explosives. It seemed to work, but if anyone knows how you're supposed to deal with these guys, just please leave in the comments below. Oh my god, he used the elevator. He's learning. Stupid idiot can't get through the door. Who's so tough now? Oh my god, they're too tough, they're too tough, they're too tough. So one of the things that actually make this level a little bit frustrating is that you have a lot of these moments where you have these jumps with chasms underneath you. And it's not that if you miss, you'll die exactly. Instead, you just fall into a pit filled with Dark Troopers. Now, that pretty much is a death sentence, or at the very least, extremely low health, but you can get out, but just don't expect to have a lot of health afterwards. Yo, that dude was just waiting there like a fucking boss. Alright, so after all that, we get to the first bomb placement guarded by turrets, and you know I fucking hate these guys, so I'm just gonna... yeah, just use some missiles on them. Just fuck them. Fuck them. I hate these turrets. I hate these turrets. Oh god, another crushing puzzle. Okay, I think I know what I need to do. Oh, I knew what I needed to do, I just forgot I suck. Oh god, it was just a secret room? Well fuck, I need this extra life for sure now. Gonna waste that one away. Ah, wait, I gotta get back through the same... oh, son of a bitch. Damn it! So while the first charge point was guarded mostly by standard troops, the second one is mostly a bunch of platforming and pits filled with Dark Troopers. But after clearing it all, we actually get to place the second charge. Well, I guess that's one way to progress through the level. I hope you liked the conveyor belts earlier, because we got more of them now. Nope, 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 nope. Sliding the wrong way, sliding the wrong way. And hey, we even got ourselves another puzzle. This one's not really that hard at all, you just line up the lights. And is actually, yeah, it's one of the easier puzzles in the game, but does help pad the level out and give you just time to breathe, which is really needed after all those Dark Troopers you've already fought. After all of that, the last charge can finally be planted, and if you haven't noticed, The last level really is kind of a compilation of all the things we've learned through this game put together into one level, and is a great idea for a final challenge and make sure you actually understand all the concepts of the game to be able to properly make it through. And speaking of final challenges, it's time to get out of here. Well, that's a Dark Trooper over there. Ah, shit, a second one. Man, you scared the piss out of me. Of course, lucky number 3. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Let's go ahead and head out to the exit.
It's been a long time since I've challenged a man to battle. I'm glad my opponent is so worthy.
Oh no, it's Rom. This is Rom Mach in the Phase 3 Dark Trooper armor equipped with the latest tech. Assault cannons, homing cluster missiles, jetpack, and he's dead. Kind of a whimper to go out on for a final boss fight, to be perfectly honest. For some reason, the only upgrade he actually has is homing missiles, and in return, he actually got weaker armor. Like, no joke, he actually has less hit points than the Phase 2 Dark Troopers. I don't know really what they were thinking having this be the final boss, but you know what? I have 0 lives left, so either way, I'm happy. I'm happy to finally beat him. So let's get out of here. And by the way, I love how they just have this one poor pilot guarding the ship. Like, I've just massacred so many people. And you really expect to be able to stop me. Like, just surrender. Just surrender. Yay! More nukes.
This is an unfortunate setback. The Force is strong with Katarn.
Foreshadowing. And of course, we get the medal from episode 4. I don't know what exactly it means, but that puts us, of course, on the same level as Luke. Well, there you have it. Dark Forces 1. I cannot believe it took me so long to actually give this game a try. I mean, yeah, if older games aren't really your thing, I get it. If you can't really get over the, controls and old graphics, but someone who grew up in this kind of era of games, I actually find it quite charming in a way. It's also just nice to see what Star Wars used to be. Since Disney bought Star Wars, I would have to admit being one of the many people who have, I think, fallen out of love with the franchise, but going back and seeing and experiencing classic Star Wars really helped remind me why I fell in love with this universe in the first place. There's just something magical about these classic Star Wars stories, and after playing through Dark Forces, I think I have an idea of which game I'll be planning on starting next. Guys, thank you so much for watching this all the way through. I mean, really, this has been one hell of a project, alright? It's been, I don't know how many hours I've spent editing this all up. And if you've really enjoyed it, which, I mean, you've watched all the way up to this point, so I gotta assume you've enjoyed it just at least a little bit, just a little bit, right? So if you have enjoyed it, hey, think about subscribing to the channel because we'll have more videos like this coming out, as well as, hey, on Fridays around 9 o'clock on Eastern Standard Time, we also do a little bit of streaming, so you can, hop on in and be part of the conversation. Either way, thanks again so much for watching, and I hope to see you again real soon.